In 2050 New Angeles, the boundary between human and code has disappeared. Meet Arin Vale, a 24-year-old linguist who believed she was ordinary until a single touch ignited a psychic explosion. Now, she possesses the echo copy power, the ability to mirror neural patterns and memories through touch. Hunted by the powerful synth corp and pulled toward the mystery of Echo 9, Arin is the only bridge between humanity and a digital evolution she never asked for. Prepare for a journey into the space between minds. This is Echo Genome, Chapter 1, The Awakening. The first thing she heard was the screaming, not a sound that traveled through air. There was no air here, no space, no time. It was a scream that existed inside, a raw explosion of terror that bypassed her ears and detonated directly in the core of her brain. Then came the images. A white room so bright it burned, rows of containers like morgue drawers stacked to an impossible ceiling, and above it all, a single eye made of pure light. Watching, waiting, hungry, Arin Vale gasped and stumbled backward, her hand flying to her chest as if she'd been electrocuted. The fluorescent lights of the hospital corridor buzzed overhead. The smell of antiseptic filled her nostrils. Everything was normal, except it wasn't. It would never be normal again. The day had started like any other. Arin sat in her cubicle at the Institute of Ancient Language Preservation, a neural interface headset resting on her temples, translating a 22nd century dialect from the Pacific Islands that no one had spoken for 30 years. Her fingers moved automatically across the holographic keyboard, matching phonemes to digital records, while her mind wandered to the collection of audio cassettes waiting for her at home. Cassettes, actual magnetic tape from the early 2000s. She'd found them at a vintage market last month. Someone's entire audio diary, recorded between 2019 and 2023. The voice on those tapes, a woman named Clara, had become a strange companion in Arin's otherwise solitary evenings. Clara talked about her fears, her dreams, her complicated relationship with technology that was just beginning to evolve into something humanity couldn't yet comprehend. "Arin, you still with us?" She blinked. Her supervisor, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, stood at the entrance to her cubicle, a concerned smile on her weathered face. "Saw the... zoned out. Don't apologize. That's where the best work happens." Yuki hesitated. "Listen, I know you're busy, but Lena asked for you." Arin's fingers stopped moving. Lena Park had been her closest friend at the Institute until 6 months ago, when a neural interface malfunction during a deep dive translation had left her in a semi-conscious state. The doctors called it prolonged neural dissonance. Everyone else called it a coma. She woke up. "No." Yuki's voice softened. "But sometimes the nurses say she responds to familiar voices. I thought maybe if you talked to her." "Of course." Arin was already removing her headset. "I'll go now." The hospital was a 20-minute maglev ride from the Institute, a gleaming tower of glass and biopolymer in the city's medical district. Arin had made this journey dozens of times, but today something felt different. A prickle at the back of her neck. The sense of being watched. She dismissed it as exhaustion and stepped into the elevator. Lena's room was on the 7th floor, but Arin never made it that far. The 6th-floor corridor was quieter than the rest, lined with rooms marked with biohazard symbols and restricted access codes. As Arin passed the intersection, a door slid open and a gurney emerged, pushed by 2 orderlies in full protective gear. On the gurney lay a man, young, maybe 30, with skin so pale it was almost translucent. Tubes and wires snaked from every part of his body, connecting to machines that beeped and whirred in an urgent rhythm. Arin pressed herself against the wall to let them pass, but as the gurney moved by, her gaze caught on something. A small scar on the man's neck, just below his jawline. A spiral, perfectly formed, like a fingerprint carved into flesh. She'd seen that symbol before, in Clara's audio diaries. The woman had mentioned it once, in a trembling voice. Asterisk, they marked us. All of us who volunteered for the program. A spiral. They said it meant connection. I think it means ownership. Asterisk. The gurney lurched. One of the tubes came loose, spraying a fine mist of clear fluid. An orderly cursed, reaching to reattach it, and in that moment of chaos, Arin stepped forward instinctively to help. Her hand touched the man's arm, and the world exploded. The screaming came first, that same internal detonation of terror. But this time it didn't stop. It carried images with it, flooded her mind with them. A laboratory filled with strange equipment. 9 people standing in a circle holding hands, their faces illuminated by the glow of a machine that pulsed like a heart. Then the containers, rows and rows of them, each one labeled with a name and a date. Then the eye, that terrible eye of light, and a voice that spoke without sound. Asterisk, it's coming. Hide. Hide from them. Don't let them find you. Don't let them. Asterisk. Arin screamed and wrenched her hand away. The corridor snapped back into focus. The orderlies stared at her. The gurney had stopped. The man's eyes were open. For one impossible second, he looked directly at her. His lips moved, forming words no sound could carry. Asterisk, find Echo 9. Asterisk. Then his eyes closed, his body went limp, and the machines flatlined. Code blue. Chaos. Nurses running. Arin stumbled backward, her heart hammering so hard she thought it would break through her ribs. Someone grabbed her arm, asked if she was okay, but she barely heard them. All she could see was that empty bed, those open eyes, that spiral scar. When she looked again, the gurney was gone. The corridor was empty. The door to rooms 6 to 14 was sealed, a maintenance notice flashing on its display. No one. Nothing. As if it never happened. Arin didn't visit Lena that day. She couldn't. She walked out of the hospital in a daze, took the maglev home, and sat in her apartment for 3 hours without moving. At midnight, she finally forced herself to test it. She touched things, her table, her books, her vintage cassette player. Nothing. She touched herself. Nothing. She downloaded a dating app and met a stranger at an all-night cafe, just to brush her fingers against his when he handed her a coffee. Nothing. He smiled. She ran. By morning, she'd convinced herself it was a hallucination. Stress. Grief. The mind playing tricks. She went to work, buried herself in translations, and almost succeeded in forgetting. Until the text message arrived. Asterisk. You just saw the future of humanity. Be careful. They know you touched him. Asterisk. No sender. No number. She tried to trace it. The message simply didn't exist in her phone's logs. But she'd read it. She'd seen it. That was when the watching began. A black sedan parked across from her apartment, engine running, windows tinted. Footsteps in the hallway that stopped whenever she looked through the peephole. Her computer screen flickering to life at 3 a.m., displaying lines of code she didn't recognize, then going dark when she approached. And then she found it. A small chip, no larger than her thumbnail, tucked into the lining of her coat pocket. She'd worn that coat to the hospital. She'd never put anything in that pocket. She didn't sleep that night. She sat in the corner of her living room, back against the wall, watching the door, the windows, the shadows. At 2:47 a.m., her phone rang. The voice on the other end was distorted, stretched, and compressed into something almost inhuman. But the words came through clear enough. Asterisk, trust no one, Arin. Not even yourself. Asterisk, the line went dead. She ran. Not heroically, not strategically, just pure animal terror. She grabbed her coat, her phone, and fled into the night. The streets of 2050 New Angeles were never truly dark, bathed in the perpetual glow of holographic ads and autonomous vehicle headlights. But tonight they felt like a maze designed to trap her. Every shadow hid a watcher. Every passing car seemed to slow. She made it back to her apartment building by dawn, exhausted, shaking, half convinced she'd lost her mind. She climbed the stairs instead of taking the elevator. She checked every corner before turning. She put her key in a lock, opened the door, and stepped inside. And stopped. A man sat on her sofa. He was young, maybe late 20s, with sharp features and eyes that missed nothing. He held a cup of tea, asterisk her asterisk tea, from her kitchen, and he was smiling. Not a cruel smile. Almost kind. Hello, Arin. Her voice wouldn't work. Her legs wouldn't move. I'm Kellen. He set the cup down carefully, as if afraid to startle her. "I'm here to help you." But first, his smile faded, replaced by something graver. "You just opened a door that was never meant to be opened. And now the entire underground world is looking for you." Arin's back hit the door, slamming it shut. "Who are you?" she whispered. Ch.1 stood slowly, hands raised in a gesture of peace. "I'm like you," he said. "I'm what they made. I'm an echo." The word hit her like a physical blow. Echo. Clara's diaries. The spiral scar. The man in the hospital. I don't know what that means." "You will." Ch.1 took a step closer. "But right now, we have about 30 seconds before they breach this building. So I need you to trust me, Arin. Can you do that?" She should have said no. She should have screamed, fought, run. Every survival instinct screamed at her to reject this stranger, this intrusion, this impossible night. But somewhere beneath the fear, buried so deep she'd forgotten it existed, another instinct stirred. A sense that she'd been waiting for this moment her entire life. That the loneliness, the fascination with old voices, the feeling of never quite belonging, all of it had been leading here. "What happens in 30 seconds?" she asked. Ch.1's eyes flicked to the window. Outside, the black sedan had just pulled up, flanked by two more. Figures in dark armor were emerging, weapons gleaming. "They take you," he said quietly. "And they don't stop until you're just another container in their collection." The word hit her like a thunderbolt. Container. The vision. The white room. The rows of more drawers. Who are they? Ch.1 met her eyes. SynthCorp. The people who made us. The people who want to turn humanity into an interface for something that should never have been awakened. The first crash came from downstairs. The sound of a door being forced open. Boots on the stairs. Arin looked at the stranger on her sofa, at Ch.1, with his knowing eyes and his offer of help, and made her choice. "What do I need to do?" For the first time, his smile reached his eyes. "Hold on tight, and don't let go of my hand." He reached out, and somewhere in the darkness, in the white room with the eye of light, something ancient and aware smiled too. "Find Echo 9, the dying man had said. Arin was about to learn what that meant. End of Chapter 1.